Here we go. All right, guys. Larry and I, Larry's driving my car here, are off to a gala tonight. And so, you know how it goes. As a woman, you put all this work into like doing your makeup and doing your hair and finding the outfits, finding the jewelry, the right shoes, all so you can go and impress people you don't really even know. And so I look too good not to broadcast. So I figured, hey, I haven't talked to you guys in a long time. So many things, by the way. I've been so busy. And thank you for praying for me, those of you who prayed for me. I got a lot of likes and reactions. I think I got salmonella. Like, I had this thing for 7 days. There's a big salmonella outbreak in like 29 different states. And Texas has the most cases. But I'm pretty sure I got it on American Airlines flight when I had limes in a club soda. And I think that's where I got it from. That's just my guess. But it was like a flight, and then for 7 days it was just miserable. And I had all these plans. I went with Lance and Annabelle and Joy. We went down to Orlando when he was at a Glow. And I brought Liberty with me. And I was like, oh, we can go to Epcot. We can do all this stuff. So like, went to the doctor. I got medicine. I like powered through it. That was the day I put that post up. Man, it didn't do any good. And so like, your prayers did. I'm just saying the medicine didn't really help. And so God bless Lance and Annabelle. They took Liberty around Epcot for like 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. So bless them for doing that like 2 Sundays ago. Anyways, but I'm feeling a lot better. And I wanted to get on because I haven't talked to you in a long time. And I just wanted to say, because I've been listening to Lance's commentary on this whistleblower stuff. I just want to bring up the obvious because I listened to a lot of the testimony that she was going through before Congress the other day. And she kept saying, you know, it's all these young girls on Facebook, 10, 11, 12, that are being bullied because they can't leave it at school anymore. It's not like it was when we grew up. We could just leave it. We could just leave it at home, you know, leave it at school, and we would have 16 hours at home to reset. Well, listen, I have an 11-year-old. None of her or her friends are on Facebook or Instagram. They're not on those platforms. So when you're saying they're being bullied and you want more government oversight, you want a government regulatory board to check Facebook's algorithm. I mean, like, my big question is, like, they're not on Facebook. Like, where is this demographic? Can I please see your demographics to see how many 10, 11, 12-year-olds are on Facebook? No. I know where they are. They're on Oculus. They're on Discord. They're on TikTok. Let's talk about TikTok. They're on maybe Snapchat. Maybe. But like the Democrats, the demographics fall off for young people on Facebook. Like, don't take this the wrong way. But Facebook at this point is like 35 plus, maybe. That's the primary age demographic that's going to be on Facebook. So I just have a big old question mark when she says young people are the ones that are at risk on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm like, no. Let's talk about TikTok. Let's talk about Discord. And let's look at Oculus, maybe. But, or you know the real threat? I'll tell you this, because I'm on my daughter's phone. I check it all the time. You guys should. Grandparents, parents should be looking at it. And look for those apps I just mentioned. But really the main thing, you can stay in this lane, baby. You'll be fine if you stay in this lane. The main thing is going to be text messages. Text messages are huge. My daughter and her friends, it's the craziest thing. They sit on FaceTime together. And so it'll be a whole group of them. It'll be like 4 or 5 of them. And they sit on FaceTime and they don't even look at each other like we would. They'll put the phone down. And so like if I put my phone down and you just looked at the ceiling, it's like that. But they're on video with each other. And they're in text message groups. I mean, my daughter will game, like play, and Minecraft and Roblox. That's the other place these kids are. Let's talk about Roblox and private messaging there. That's another place that they're at. So that's Microsoft. But anyways, so they'll sit there and they'll play Roblox and like, hey, let's go do this. Or they're on Minecraft. Hey, let's go do this. They'll get on the same server, set their own servers up on Discord. They'll all play together. And that's how that works. So when you're telling me 10, 11, 12-year-olds, oh, they're on Facebook and being bullied, I'm like, no, they're not. That's not where they are. And that's actually not what we need, which is more government oversight over proprietary algorithms. Honestly, I don't even know how you do that. It's like, that's kind of like their secret sauce. As much as I have my problems with Facebook, at the end of the day, that is kind of like their secret sauce, all these different platforms of how they reach people. But yeah, I don't think government getting involved is going to make it any better in any way, shape, or form. So, but I was reading Candace Owens. She had this great tweet, and I don't have it on me, so I can't show it to you right now, but she was talking about how this whole initiative is actually tied into the World Economic Forum and tied into Davos and their agenda, which is more government oversight. And what they really want is like a capitalist, communist society is what they're after and what they're trying to build. And so it's just interesting to see those two things coming together. And I know I said I've had a lot of like updates for you. One is Larry and I sold our house. So you remember I did that whole financial series, probably like before like July-ish over the summer. I just felt really led to sell my house. And so I was really obedient. The Lord kind of started talking to me a lot about finances and stewardship. And when the market was going crazy here in Texas, I said, now's the time. Like, we're in a 30-year-old house. I love that house. And I was like, okay, I feel like we're supposed to. Like, back in March, I felt like the Lord was telling me, you need to sell your house. And I thought it would be July. Like, you know how it is. You have like an intuition. And so I was like, okay, I think it's July. And sure enough, and I kid you not, we were out of town. We went, where did we go? It was like a...
Florida, when we were on the boat.
Yes, we're on a boat in Florida. And so not only did we like sign the contract electronic, we got a buyer that came in, offered us almost $40,000 over asking.
Yes,
it was crazy back over the summer in Dallas, like crazy. So we got $40,000 over asking. But I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, and I got to rent it back for 2 months with no money, like out of pocket. It was just all built in. And I said, well, Lord, listen, if this is what you want us to do, I want to stay in this community. As crazy as that sounds, Liberty loves her school. I love where we're at. We're real close to like all the places we like to be, like Chipotle or, just Target. Like, we just like where we're at. And I said, listen, if we're supposed to do this, Lord, here's what I really would like is I want to stay in the same community. It's got to have an office for me. It's got to have an office for Larry since we both work from home. And you know how it is. I don't know if you have this relationship with the Lord, but when I'm being obedient, and it's a big faith step, right? Like, sell your house and go and rent something. It's a huge faith step. And so I was like, God, all right, this is what I would really like, though, if we're going to do this. And I'm not even exaggerating. We were walking in the neighborhood. I prayed that prayer. And like 2 days later, this house pops up in our community. And we were in Florida. And I was like, oh my gosh, we got to submit now. So I'm calling the people because I know what I'm looking for. I know a lot of what the houses look like in our area. And I'm looking at the pictures. I'm like, this is perfect. And so I go through the whole application. And I kid you not, we rented it, having not seen it. And we signed all the paperwork, and when we got back from our vacation, I went through it, I looked at it, I'm like, it's perfect. But
I need to know, literally, like, this is so funny, but this is how you know it's the Lord. We sense such an urgency on that. We were on a boat, and we were literally having to sign paperwork and, like, create little PDF, text boxes on a PDF.
Yes.
On a boat while we were, like, going in the water.
I'm on a boat, yeah. And so it was actually the Trump cruise. Like, remember it was the Trump, like,
the boat parade.
Yeah. It was then. But we were like filling that whole thing out, and we ended up getting that house. And it was like such an answer to prayer. And so I've been so busy. I had to pack my house up, had to move. And then how many of you know you got to unpack the house? That's like almost more work than packing the house, because then you got to like look at everything. And you're like, well, where do you want to go, little thing? And you like find it. But I tell you, I love this. I love this new rental property that we're in. And so, but now God's talking to me a lot of different things, because I really think this financial reset's coming. And right now, what I'm thankful for is God's put us in a really strong cash position going into October, November, December, and early next year, which if you're following like Robert Kiyosaki and guys like that, he's really predicting a strong deflation, not even inflation, but deflation. And it's like we're going to end up with both. So what we're going to end up having is this great, it's a great video. I'll send it to you guys. I'll put it on my Facebook page. But what it ends up saying is that we were going to have, because transportation's so difficult right now with the shipping containers and trucks, we shouldn't have enough people to work and, I think that there's a whole other conspiracy there where they're trying to hurt the supply chain. But because we've got supply chain issues, you're going to end up with inflation. But a lot of the signs with the printing of money and the increase in the debt ceiling, and if we don't get things handled by the middle of October, and even, Janet Yellen's talking about things like this, if we don't handle the debt ceiling, it's going to be a financial crisis. But we are actually going to end up with deflation and a market collapse. And so that's a whole other side of the equation. I don't hear a lot of people talking about. But Robert talks about it, and he said, that's why he's saying going into this, he's saying the stock market's going to pull back and collapse. We're going to have even gold, silver, and Bitcoin's going to pull back. And he said, no, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing if you're in a strong cash position. It's a bad thing if you're heavily leveraged in the market. So I know a lot of investors that are in a strong cash position right now. And so anyways, I'm just throwing things out there, things you should be thinking about, maybe you're not looking at. The other thing that I think I'm going to start getting into is I just bought Billy Eberhardt's Wealth Builders course, and I'm going through his material, and I wish I could go out. It's like next weekend, but he's got a whole course on real estate investing, and he's like a real estate investing guru. And I don't know how many of you know Karen Conrad. She works closely with him, and they both work with Andrew Womack. And so like anytime Andrew wants to buy property, Billy is his guy and helps him do all that. So Karen Conrad works with Billy, and so she just got into like investing in homes, and they've got like 3 or 4 properties, and it's a lot of passive income that they're getting from it. And so they're looking at specific homes. And she was telling me how Billy's got a whole matrix of what to look for, where you kind of look at what's the average income in this particular city, what's the average home price, and you could tell if the housing market is inflated or undervalued. And so anyways, I'm doing a lot of that right now too. So plus my normal stuff of just trying to save America and working with Lance, and we're really working on his podcast too. So please go watch his podcast, because I don't know if you saw, but today he's 111. Hey, that's a great number too, 111. And so I'm trying real hard. We want to get him in the top 100, and then we also want to get him up there, with guys like Charlie Kirk. Because I tell Lance all the time, I'm like, listen, I think your greatest years are ahead of you. And it's like, a lot of his peers, you see like maybe they're retiring or they're slowing down. But man, Lance is like picking up speed. And I really think, because his dad lived well into his 90s, I'm like, I think you're going to outlive your dad, and I think your greatest years are ahead of you. And I think that he's got this, somebody called him a prophetic pundit the other day on one of his videos. I'm like, that's such a great summary for who he is and what he carries, And so anyways, I just encourage you, go check it out. If you don't, most of you come from Lance who follow me, but if you haven't followed Lance yet, it's Lance Wallnau, Wallnau. You're going to love him if you haven't seen him. He's kind of like this, he's got like this Jewish, Christian, comedian, political commentator shtick. And it's just great. I mean, a lot of people find him really refreshing, but I really think he's like the next Rush. I feel he's going to like fill that gap in for us. So anyways, this is my world, people. Welcome. This is my Jeep. This is my husband. And yes, I love that you all are here. I know we got a lot of new people, but anyways, I pray that you will be blessed. We're off to see Cindy Jacobs tonight. She's also great. If you don't know who she is, we're going to go have dinner with her at this gala. So I'm all dressed up for it. Anyways, all right, guys, be blessed. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining me in the old Jeep. Bye.